Oh, Dad, what do you think?
Well, it's different. It is different.
Okay. Well, this is my first time sitting in a Fendt Ideal combine. Looking over here, this all looks pretty similar to our 1000 Challenger. I mean, the joystick's obviously different, but these controls look similar. These buttons look similar, but they'll have different functionality. The cab's pretty large compared to our Klaus. I'm 6'4" and there's more legroom in this. Nice organization over here. Looks like operator comfort is pretty good. Guessing that is for all the cameras that are mounted in the machine. But maybe I should quit guessing and actually talk to someone who knows what they're doing. Alright guys, they ended up having some technical difficulties and some scheduling issues, so it does not appear that I'm going to be running this machine today. The good news is though, they are planning on moving this machine closer to where we are, and hopefully be running some possibly in the county we live in, so that'll be exciting. Get to see it in crop conditions be more similar to what we're going to be running it in, but it does not appear that there's going to be any seat time in it today. Alright ladies and gentlemen, I'm here with Zach Stayschool from AGCO. Are you a product specialist on the Fendt Ideal combine?
Yes sir, North American product specialist for commercial harvesting, mostly with Ideal.
Okay. Well, Zach, I got a few viewer submitted questions on the combine. I put this out a couple days ago that I was coming to this, and got several replies. So one person was asking, what would the parts and service availability be of this machine?
So one thing that AGCO's done in the last couple months is an expansion in our parts warehouse in Regina, Saskatchewan. So what we've done with the 50% expansion up there, we'll be able to stock more parts for launching a new combine, launching a new brand as well. And also what that does is opening up more availability up there. Will also help not only expand for Western Canada, but also for the States as well. So maybe some of the stocks that we've had to keep, some of the parts that we've had to keep stocked in Batavia, Illinois, to consider for Western Canada may not have to be stocked there anymore. So also allowing us to utilize Batavia maybe more strategically for the States, and utilize some of that open space in Regina.
How many, like if a dealer orders in one combine, will they be required to keep other combines on the lot there, or how will that be?
So with our demo program next year, yes, we'll have combines available at the dealership for loaning or for a demo program, and then we'll also have them available. So if with the Fendt service, with the Fendt customer care, if a customer's combine goes down, the dealer's got the available combines to loan out. If it's going to be an extended period of time for a breakdown, we can swap out combines and make that go a little bit further, so that we don't have a down situation.
That's good. I would say every combine is one bad bearing away from a fire.
Exactly, yeah, and I gotta watch the fire word.
Yeah.
So yeah, I understand.
What kind of product research and development is one? This has been a pretty long process, hasn't it?
For sure, yeah, that's exactly right. It kind of started from the ground up, kind of on a napkin, clean sheet of paper design, and we've started from the ground up. This is a completely new combine, so as far as testing and development, we've been lab testing this for almost 6 years now, and then as far as field testing, we're going on for almost 5 years. So we've had this thing from crawler stage, a very initial design, and every year we just continue to make updates based on what we see out, testing what we see out in the field. And we continue to test and develop today. We've got machines we test in South America, we test over in Europe, we test here in the States and Canada as well. And so having such a broad range of testing, we get to see a lot of corner conditions and get to get in a lot of different situations
Right.
that might challenge any combine out there. And it helps us test and develop some of those nooks and crannies of where things get tough.
Yeah.
But continue to develop from here on out too. We continue to field test, and now that it's launched, we still want to make sure that we invest the time and resources to make sure we continue to develop and bring new things to the market.
So, with all that test and development, what have you seen as far as like, how's the grain sample? Like if, for example, running corn and beans, I know our machines, depending on how they're set, we can have a pretty dirty sample, or we can crack corn pretty bad. What's this machine running? You notice? Would this be a good combine for someone trying to run seed beans or something along those
Yes,
lines?
sir. So what we've seen, there's a couple different configurations you can change the machine, and a lot of them are easy to change. So for example, we were in corn. I actually was running here the other day. We were getting little pieces of cob in the sample, and so we have a choke adjustment we can make to our fan. Basically, it's just how much air and kind of the direction of air throughout our cleaning system. So we made a choke adjustment, basically pushing more air to the rear part of our cleaning system, and allowing us to get those little pieces of cob and stalk and that material out. Seed beans as well. So you can make that same kind of adjustment. We've got a fan speed adjustment. You can run the fan all the way up to 1350 RPM if need be. You get some high moisture conditions. We really need to push some air. That's a possibility as well. And then we have a couple different between our class sizes. We have variance in cleaning area as well. So getting a clean sample, we've had pretty good luck so far running corn and beans, wheat, canola. We've actually, like in canola as well, we've gotten into some situations where guys are like, it's a little bit too clean.
Yeah, okay.
But that's a crop where you find a little bit of, you want a little bit of dirty, you want a little bit of clean. But and then as far as cracks in grain samples, so we don't really utilize aggression with these rotors. We've got 16-foot rotors, so we utilize length and space to thresh and separate, and we're not trying to do all of that in a short amount of area. So they're very gentle handling as far as threshing, as far as separating, and then when we start to talk to guys about laying down windrows, that's when we start to see nice straw quality as well. I think that kind of ventures off of your.
Well, that's one thing I was going to cover, the straw quality of the machine.
So yeah, when we get into cereal grains, barley, wheat, we want to start laying out windrows. The one thing that's been a huge plus over the last couple of years of testing has been the comments that we've gotten so far for the straw quality that comes out of that machine. For a rotor machine, for an actual rotor machine, it's usually pretty tough to do.
Yeah.
So.
One thing I've noticed a lot of people concerned with, what is the future holding for other AGCO combines such as Gleaners, Massey Ferguson's, Challenger? Are they going to continue with those lines?
Yes, sir. So AGCO is fully committed to the other brands outside of Ideal and Fendt. We will continue to invest money in the Gleaner brand moving forward and developing that. And we're still gonna produce those combines down in Heston, Kansas. We're still gonna produce the Massey and Challenger brands and the Gleaner brands. So AGCO, is still fully committed on those. We understand we have loyal customers out there, and this year are traveling through the states and Western Canada as well. We have some spectacular customers out there, and we've known it for years. So we still want to make sure that we can offer those customers what they want, what they need, and continue moving forward with it.
Perfect. I know as soon as I threw out that question, asking for comments, people were, well, I hope they're still making Gleaners. Well, I think they are.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's we understand that that is a concern when you launch a new product. Okay, are they gonna they make a brand new Mercedes or whatever it is, or am I gonna get rid of my old one? I totally understand that, and AGCO is a brand we're still fully committed to the Gleaner Massey Challenge.
You mentioned that where the Gleaner and the Masseys were made. Where was this machine being made?
So this machine right now is manufactured in Braganza, Italy.
Okay. And
that will be the plan for the immediate future. Just as we start to get in a larger production and continue to move forward. As of right now, that is the immediate plan. Now, down the road, I'm not necessarily sure where those talks are at, but for the next couple of years, I believe we're going to continue production in Italy.
When this machine comes here on the barge, is it fully assembled, or is it built there and assembled here?
Yeah, so it is. Most of the manufacturing happens there in Braganza, and then all the assembly happens there. And basically, it's a drive on a boat, drive off sort of deal. So it comes fully assembled, all the parts and pieces are on it. It's over here and it's ready to roll.
One subscriber asked this question, and I quote, "Will it starve a dove?" I'm guessing he is talking about grain loss at the back of the machine.
Talking about the stuff on the ground, for sure. That's one thing we've seen lately too. We were dropping some lost pans and soybeans the other day, and we dropped a lost pan just as we're spreading, we're running everything through the chopper. We dropped a lost pan underneath the machine, and it was a 5 feet by 1 foot lost pan, and we had one soybean in there. So I don't know how much a dove needs to survive, but if it can survive off of one soybean, I guess. But
man, I'm a duck hunter. I don't know about this.
No, they're keeping it pretty clean on the ground. That's the thing is, you can have the capacity. You got to be able to do bushels an hour, but you also got to be able to keep it in the tank.
Yeah.
And especially from what we've seen the last couple of weeks too, it's running in corn and beans and being able to push speed as well and keep it in the machine. We've been keeping a clean sample, clean around. Yeah, as far as grain losses go, we were seeing some samples in canola the other day on a 35-foot swath of canola, capturing loss. We gathered 7 grams of canola, so that comes out to be about 0.38 bushels an acre on canola. So that's from the guys that we talked about, the 50 bushel an acre canola that we were running, and that's under 1% an acre, and that's 0.38 bushel an acre canola. The guys in person couldn't take care of that. I myself
pretty well within the acceptable range.
Yeah, I think that'll do. So,
what are the product weight and dimensions of this machine? I guess like driving down the road, what's the width of it? And I know it has a very large grain tank, and I'm curious what the weight of it is empty, let alone when it's full.
Yes, sir. So the width kind of depends, of course, on your configuration, tracks, tires. The widest configuration we'll have is with the 710 duals. That will be, with the 710 duals, that'll be about 17 feet wide.
Right.
With our track configuration, we're going to be in the 13.5 foot to 14 foot range on width. Height, we're 13 feet 3 inches from bottom to top. Length, I'm trying to remember. Oh, that might be one I need to brush up on. I believe length is it depends on if you go from feeder to the triple D loader and all that good stuff. But length, I think we're sitting right about 30 feet. And then as far as weight, so weight's the big one. Everybody wants to know how much does it weigh. So with the big bin, the big unloader, with the tracks, all the loaded options, all the big stuff on it, we're going to be sitting around 55,000. So that's our biggest option. That's our Class 9 with tracks, big bin, all the good stuff, all the goodies, all the big stuff, heavy stuff on it. It's about 55,000.
Okay, to put that in perspective for maybe if you are not familiar with other brands, like where would that rate as far as in that class? That's
gonna for a Class 9. That's gonna run right in with what the competition is gonna run as far as weight. Once you start to get to the bigger engine, you're talking bigger cleaning area.
I mean, I know that's bigger than that's heavier what my machine weighs, but I'm running a Class 7.
Yeah, exactly, for sure. So once we start running down the class sizes, of course we start dropping in weight a little bit. Once you start taking some of those bigger options off. Smaller cleaning area, smaller stuff like that. But the 55,000 is going to run right in. That's our loaded out option. That's going to run right in with what loaded out option is going to be for any
other. Could you maybe highlight some things that would set this machine apart from another combine? If I was coming to you as a farmer, what would be one thing you'd really want to point out that would make me consider switching?
Yes, sir. So we always talk about with our customers and our dealers and whoever asks us about this combine, we have the 10 wows of this combine, and I can basically go from front to back. We're talking about our 10 wows, but one of them is a vision cow. And so the operator comfort, there's guys that spend 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day in an office. You know, there's some guys that spend time out in the field, and there's guys that spend 16 hours in the cab. So we want to make sure that for the guys and gals that run the machine all the time, we want to make sure that it's like your office up there. So it has to be quiet, comfortable. And so that's one thing that we've got from the customer so far is basically it's kind of like a living room. You got a nice view. You got a nice view in there. Skinny corner posts on it. So that's one big feature. Our ideal harvest. So basically, that's using a specific set of sensors throughout the entire machine to change the pertinent settings throughout the combine. And basically, we monitor the performance of the combine as we're going through the field, and the combine can change the settings as we go. That's something that's coming in the future with these ideal combines. The remote monitoring with our iPad app. So in the combine, we're able to use an iPad to monitor grain loss, loads throughout the combine. So basically, are we getting high shoe loads? Are we getting early separation? Are we getting late separation? You can monitor all your speeds. Am I getting more load on the left-hand side, on the right-hand side, as I'm going through hills and rolling areas? And you can also, we have what we call the ideal triangle. So we highlight three things: it's grain quality, capacity, and losses. And so those are the three things we want to highlight, so you can run it right in the middle of that triangle and emphasize them all equally. You can move that triangle around to emphasize grain loss maybe more than capacity, or grain quality sampling. You get into maybe seed beans or something like that, where you don't want to have, you're more conscious of the splits. That's another feature. And kind of moving rearward in the machine. Another one of our wows we call is a large grain bin. So the 485 bushel grain bin. It's the largest on the market. We're able to basically carry more grain through the field. What we've noticed so far, and what the customers have commented on, is being able to. It gives you more time with the grain cart, especially when you get into higher yielding crops like corn.
Folks, that's half a semi-load.
Yeah, 485. And by the time, if you're unloading on the go, by the time you
probably run through
the by the time you run through the field, you got a full semi-load and 2 bins. The nice thing is, the 485 compared to maybe having somewhere in the 300s, it could be the difference in making it to the end or not.
Well, yeah, I mean, in 200 bushel corn, you're able to run 2 acres.
Yep. Exactly. So we can, you can, especially doing end rows, you don't have to, we notice, when we run against other combines, we don't have to stop picking end rows to dump, like some of the machines. And then, being able to handle all that, we want to be able to make sure we get all that away. So we've got the fastest unload rate on the market as well. It's one of our 10 wows as well, 6 bushels a second. So
that's pretty impressive.
It can really move some grain. And
you can make a big pile of deer corn if the grain cart operator is not paying attention.
You can feed the doves if the grain cart operator is not paying attention. But the nice thing about what we call it the streamer 6L, and so the nice thing about that is you don't always have to be unloading at 6 bushels a second. So we also have the streamer gates. And those act as a choke. So you got
you're topping off your grain carter set.
Exactly. Topping off the truck, the grain carter. If you got your son, you got grandpa up there running, and maybe you don't want them unloading at 6 bushel a second. Basically, you've got 5 settings with that, and it takes it in a quarter. So you can run 100%, 75, 50, quarter, and then shut them all the way down.
Does any of the competition have? I've never heard of that.
I'm not sure at the moment. Honestly, I think I don't want to say no, but I don't think so. I'm not 100% sure, but that's one thing we utilize. So we have 2 cross augers, and we utilize moving volume more than we do speed. So it's also general handling on the grain as well. We're not trying to trying to really move material faster.
Yeah, I know coming when we were driving in here, I seen this auger stick. And I was like, that auger doesn't look very long. It turns out it's just massively large. I mean, it's,
yeah, the 18-inch diameter on it. I mean, it's a big auger.
yeah, that's almost the size of a grain cart auger. That's pretty impressive.
For sure. So those are some of the biggest takeaways moving forward. The active spread, you know, there's a lot of things on the technology side. The active spread tailboard that we have, you'll see it a lot when we're running in beans. Being able to spread your full width is a big deal.
Right.
And sometimes, you know, when you get in a windy situation, we're getting a strong crosswind, and you want to compensate, you know, left or right. You can make that compensation and still have the ability to spread out that far. And you know, as we move forward, you know, ground temperature is very important moving into the winter season. So soybeans, you got to make sure you're not moving those streaks through the field. So with our active spread, you're able to spread up to 45 feet. I mean, and that pretty handily. And we can compensate, like I said, we can compensate for the wind with headland management. As you turn around in the field, you can compensate the opposite direction automatically. So a lot of neat features. The track ride system as well. It's a brand new system that's designed specifically for this combine.
Okay.
So it's something that we've designed in Jackson.
So it's completely different than the
completely.
track tractor.
Yep. So it's designed in the same place as where the tracks are designed, but brand new design. And like I said, the ideal balanced grain pans to help convey the material through the machine. So basically, our grain pans inside the machine help concentrate the material to the inside and to the outside, basically conveying what we get from the threshing area to the separating area, and help the distribution to our stratification pan and get that material stratifying, shaking, separated before it even gets to our chaffer and it's shared in the back. So, I can probably go all day, depending on how much time you got, but it's like I said, there's the technology side. There's a lot of things to see inside this combine that going through farm shows and talking with customers, I get used to it, being with it for long enough. But guys say, "Oh, I never even thought of that, or that's new, that's different." Yeah. So just walking around the machine, there's a lot of different ideas. Like I said before, we've pulled ideas from all around the world, you know, different countries around the world, different test sites, different engineering sites. So pulling a lot of heads and ideas and minds together to put one global combine.
You mentioned the being able to adjust things on the iPad and whatnot. Is that something that if I'm an operator, running an operation, can I have someone in the combine and have that iPad with me, or does that have to be close to the combine?
So right now, the way the combine is working, basically the gateway on the combine is putting on the Wi-Fi, and you connect to it right now like a Wi-Fi signal. So if you're in the grain cart, and I mean that's close enough to be connected to it. Moving forward, I believe, you know, the approach that we're going to take from here on out is being able to broaden that range of, you know, the guys sitting on the edge of the field and you're out there running. You know,
is that a paid service, or is
that comes with the technology subscription? So that's part of the package for the combine, and that is, I guess that comes along.
Okay. I think that'll cover it for the stand-up part. Do you have time to show me how to switch over to the tractor?